great conversation last time, but we had a couple of ups and downs.
Lots of downs.
Lots of downs. Let's go with that. So maybe we could touch upon some of just the persistence or the way you just continue to evolve and continue to go on, and maybe just go through some of the trials and tribulations of it, if you would.
Really happened.
Yeah,
I was a kid, when 15, 16 years old. I remember getting a call in my parents' kitchen from Chrysalis Records. I submitted a song called Corinne. That was like our first song we wrote. And they called me to say how great it was. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's great. But, we're going towards a disco. It was 77 maybe. So I was like just sitting. That keeps happening in my life. So it was different. So then every time we run into a record deal situation with a lot of companies, the second one was a deal, and they said, oh my God, I think it was CBS or Columbia. And they were like, you guys are great. You're like a Cream. You're like a career band like Cream. However, we're going to go with the guy that sounds like Prince. Because Prince was hot.
Right.
Right. Things like that would always happen. Or then you get caught with people who were jealous, or the engineers, wouldn't put their name on something and they would take it down somehow. And we didn't know if we would have just put the record out, it would have sold. And the snowball would happen. That's what you always had to do. You had to create a snowball effect. There was no internet, so you had to create this little thing that would get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then we would work our way up, and this would happen. I remember the last time we were on the stage with all the big guys, right before hair bands broke. And it was a Raritan Manor gig, which was like the one club around here that was it. And we finally worked our way up to the headliner spot, and we're all excited about ourselves, because it's like they never do that. You had to be in that. We had to be on the stage with Skid Row or Bon Jovi or something like that. There, not Sister Carol. Who are you? Right. No record deal. How could you do this? Mm-hmm. That's you. So we were all excited. Then I get a phone call that weekend. Oh, have you drawn? The Raritan Manor's gone. And we're like, what do you mean gone? And sure enough, it was boarded up. Nobody knew what happened. It was closed down, but it killed us because we worked to get a certain level. Now we had to start all over again, and it just kept on going. And again, it happened even later on in my life. I mean, things would just go wrong, and you're out of your control.
And then what? Just continually either decide to start from scratch or keep reinventing, or is that?
Well, yeah, I kept reinventing, and I kept but the mistake was I realized, oh, maybe I should follow the industry. Oh, hair bands, okay. So then after Sister Carol was in like a hair band, not too much, but the look.
Right.
And we went right to the top. It was like, wow, we're up and down the East Coast. Rhapsody was the band. Beautiful band, it looked great. Wasn't the talent that I was used to, it being not the talent, but the level of, it was just one sound.
Sure.
And that's what the industry wanted. One sound, you had to look, sound, be. So, same thing happens. This is late 80s into 90, 91, I don't know, early 90s, right before, right? So we go all the way. I mean, I'll never forget it. We're in, MCA. The elevator doors open, MCA. I'm like, well, here we are. I mean, we're called in.
Right.
Okay, we've been sent. So I'm in the office, head of A&R. Head. This isn't somebody in the bar saying, hey, I work for so and so. This was the head. Filling our heads. Oh, we're gonna put you on the road with Steelheart, and because that's who they just had at the time. And we're gonna produce you. We're gonna do this. And I'll never forget it. She kept looking at me, and she goes, "But you," she goes, "you don't believe me," because I was just. Everybody's like, and I'm just like this. I'm like, well, it sounds great. You know what I mean? But I've been here. So, oh no. So the rest of the night, I'm partied with this, up and down Manhattan. Call me Monday. It's going to be great. Over the weekend, Nirvana drops.
Okay.
That's it.
So you're you're with the record label. Everything's going smooth.
Well, we didn't sign or anything. She was just saying, we can do this for you.
Okay.
And then Monday morning came. Once Nirvana came out, if you had long hair or anything like it, you were dead.
Wow.
That was it. And a lot of things would happen like that. And then it was Mad Guy Sky in the City, the alternative thing, which was great. Same thing, you know.
But in general, I mean, you're putting all these bands together, which in itself is quite a challenge. I mean, right? I mean,
it's very fragile.
So you have personalities, you have. So,
I'll never do it again.
so what is? I mean,
well, because things would happen with other people, and it's your career you're dealing
right.
with. If something happens, if somebody has a problem or can't do this or takes down the band for that reason, the band is down, and you didn't have a hand on it. I mean, one of the hardships was the last one was Johnny and the Pony was, and I'm in my 40s. I'm thinking, why are we doing this?
Right.
And it was the best band. It was incredible guitar army. Jimmy Witt, Iceman, our bass player, Paulie was the original singer of Sister Carol, who's really peaked with his vocals. Mike on drums, and it was just really, all the cylinders were. You know, I was like, well, nobody's gonna. But I didn't think anything was gonna happen, so the expectation was gone, and it started to all of a sudden started to gel. So for like 6 months, we were on top of the world. This is going to happen. People are coming in and seeing us. We haven't heard this in 20 years. And it's the same stuff I've been playing for 20 years, but they haven't heard it. And then something happens, and my bass player was from Norway, and he never filed for his papers. He gets deported. Okay.
Right.
Then that was it. He was so good at such a gel of the band that made us this big guitar army that we were like, I was like, okay, all right, okay, let's go record the record. That was the plan, to record these songs. My drummer needs a hernia operation. He can't play drums for 3 months. So, and bands are so fragile, especially at that point of your lives, you know. Yeah, we're like, oh. And that's when I got out of the band situation, and I was just like Don. Then I started doing the Rescue of Plastic Girl, ROPG, because it was just me and Mike, the drummer, with the movie. It was less takedowns. Right. And so that's when I started getting back to the theater, and then things started to roll. And it was like, it wasn't until I was like, you know, what, I was 53 when I did Mary Howling. I mean, it seemed like I've accomplished more in my 50s, okay, when I have no time to do anything or can, or care less, than I did 30 years of trying to be, you know.
And so I guess those are, I mean, it sounds like, I mean, would it be safe to say that there was a lot of empty promises then? Or?
A lot of empty promises. Yeah. And a lot of things that we didn't know when you're young, like I said. If we would have known to record that record, that very first record, and put it out, things would have been different, because it would have just picked up.
Right.
Snowballed, and then you get producers, and then you have help. We didn't have any help. We didn't know.
Right.
And then, or you have the people that are like, they want you to sign a contract. I remember one contract that was offered to us, and we read it, you know, the fine line. It was basically they took 20% of everything we've ever made, or going to make, in or outside the band. I mean, these are the things that are the sharks that are out. Oh yeah, these are the sharks that are out there.
So wow, so they're going to. That's interesting. So it's not just you in this band; it's you, the person.
Any money you make,
right?
This person was going to get a piece of. And see that when you're young and you're like, oh, we got a record deal. Right. You know, you're so you don't know any better. Now we didn't sign it because I was like, wait a minute. But they're out there.
Talk about a loophole there. I mean, so, okay, there's people out there that are saying, hey, listen, we really like your style of your art, whether it's any type of art. Hey, we want to put your stuff out there. We want to produce you on our, nowadays, we'll put you out there on anything, right? But what you don't know in the fine details is that they're claiming rights to future things that you could possibly do. And when you make a big enough money, you're going to have to pay guys like that. Because you actually signed something and didn't read the fine details. Didn't know it.
Wow. Yeah. And then not only that, and then you have those people out there that there's a whole industry. You know, the sharks, the star sharks, who, we're going to put you in this compilation CD. You know, that was big when I was coming up.
Okay.
That's how you made it, you know, because we're going to release this, and we're going to take one of your songs with 27 other bands and put it on a CD, right? And we're going to put it out. Oh! And you find out it costs money to do it. It's like, well, wait a minute.
You said that in the first interview. It's like, you got a phone call and it was like another one of these, hey, you pay us and we'll make you famous.
That's what they're everywhere. But as I got older, I was smarter, and you know. But even with the play, because it was something I didn't know. I didn't know anything about stage play in New York City. I didn't know anything about the unions. I didn't know anything about what was involved with those people,
Sure.
theater people. I was used to musicians and the music people.